We admire the successful, the disciplined, the strong, but we forget that they were built, not born. Not with one big move, but with tiny decisions repeated every single day. It's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do consistently when no one's watching. The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't luck. It's not talent. It's not timing. It's consistency. If you're tired of starting over, if you're ready to stop chasing motivation and start owning your habits, then it's time to understand this. Your future is hidden in your daily routine. And today we're going to uncover why that matters more than you ever realized. Success is often mistaken as a one-time event. Winning the lottery, launching a business that goes viral overnight, or landing that perfect opportunity out of nowhere. But the truth is far less glamorous and far more powerful. Real, lasting success is not found in grand moments. It is quietly built in the small, almost invisible actions that fill your daily routine. It's the result of showing up when it doesn't feel exciting, doing the right thing even when no one notices, and choosing progress over perfection every single day. Most people underestimate the value of the ordinary. They chase inspiration and wait for motivation, but what truly changes your life is what you decide to do with your ordinary Tuesday. The way you wake up, the way you plan your time, how you treat people, what you consume physically and mentally, these habits shape you far more than you realize. You don't become disciplined by reading a quote on Instagram or listening to a motivational podcast once a week. You become disciplined by making one small positive decision and repeating it daily until it becomes automatic. Your routine is either your best friend or your worst enemy. It's a silent architect of your life. It's either lifting you closer to your goals or quietly pulling you away from them. The real danger is that these choices rarely show their consequences immediately. If you skip a workout today, your body doesn't change. If you eat fast food tonight, you won't see the damage tomorrow. But let that become a pattern, and 6 months later you're wondering how things got off track. Likewise, if you read just 10 pages of a good book every day, you might not feel any different after a week. But after a year, you've read dozens of books, expanded your thinking and elevated your mindset. And that changes everything. This is where the power of consistency becomes so underrated. We tend to look at people who've achieved remarkable things and assume they have some unique talent or secret strategy. But more often than not, they've simply done the right things consistently over time. They've mastered the art of staying steady. They've shown up when others quit. They've taken small steps while others waited for the perfect moment. And those small steps, repeated day after day, become unstoppable momentum. The same principle applies to your relationships, your health, your finances, and your personal growth. Trust isn't built in grand declarations, but in repeated reliability. Fitness doesn't come from a one-week cleanse, but from showing up to exercise even when you don't feel like it. Wealth doesn't grow from one good paycheck, but from the discipline to save and invest consistently. Self-confidence doesn't come from shouting affirmations in the mirror once. It comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself over and over again. People are always looking for the big breakthrough, the magic answer, the shortcut. But the real magic is found in doing what matters every day, especially when it's not convenient or exciting. Because every action compounds. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you take control of your morning, instead of letting it control you, you're rewriting your future. Every time you choose to improve by just 1%, you're separating yourself from the crowd. Not by miles, but by inches. And those inches added up daily will take you further than talent or luck ever could. There's something powerful in realizing that you already have everything you need to move forward. You don't need a perfect plan, a new opportunity, or someone else's approval. What you need is to start with what you have and do it consistently, even if it's small, even if it's quiet. Because what you repeat becomes what you believe, and what you believe becomes how you live. That's how your routine, one decision at a time, silently builds the foundation for everything you're capable of achieving. Motivation is powerful. It's the initial surge of energy, that rush of inspiration that makes you want to leap out of bed and change your life. It's the spark that pushes you to start a new project, set a new goal, or take on a new challenge. But motivation, as strong as it may feel in the moment, is fleeting. It fades. It disappears when things get hard, when results don't come quickly, or when life gets in the way. That's why it's not enough to rely on being motivated. What truly matters, what truly transforms, is consistency. Motivation can get you moving, but it's consistency that keeps you going. That's where the real work happens. It's easy to take action when you feel inspired. It's easy to show up when you're excited. But what happens when the excitement wears off, when no one is clapping for you, when the novelty of the goal starts to wear thin and the reality of effort begins to set in? That's when the people who succeed are separated from those who stop. Discipline doesn't always feel good, and consistency rarely feels glamorous. But that's where transformation lives. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll be waiting forever. Consistency asks more of you. It asks for commitment without applause. It asks for repetition without instant reward. And that's where the magic happens. When you choose to show up again and again, regardless of how you feel, anyone can start a journey. The gym is full on January 1st. People get excited about new routines, new diets, new ideas, but give it a few weeks, and that excitement fades. The real difference between those who reach their goals and those who don't isn't found in a burst of motivation. It's in the decision to be consistent after the motivation is gone. It's in the ability to keep showing up, keep doing the work, and keep moving forward even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. This is why so many goals fall apart. Not because people don't care or aren't capable, but because they haven't trained themselves to value consistency over intensity. They go all in for a short time, then burn out. They expect overnight results and feel defeated when progress is slow. But success isn't a sprint. It's a long-distance commitment. It's about steady steps, not giant leaps. It's also about learning to trust the process. When you're consistent, you build something deeper than progress. You build belief. Each time you show up, each time you stick to your word, you strengthen your self-trust. You prove to yourself that you're reliable, that you can be counted on even when it's hard. And that confidence doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from repetition, from putting in the work, from honoring your commitments even on the days you'd rather not. Consistency is also where habits are born. No one builds a habit overnight. It takes repeated action, day in and day out. At first, it feels like effort, but with time, it becomes part of who you are. The actions that once felt difficult become second nature. You no longer have to force yourself, you simply follow through because it's what you do. That's the real gift of consistency. It transforms effort into identity. There's no perfect day to start, no perfect conditions to wait for. The people who change their lives don't do it all at once. They do it in small pieces, repeated, with purpose. They trade comfort for commitment, excitement for endurance. They understand that the feeling of motivation might be temporary, but the results of consistency are lasting. Every time you act without motivation, you grow stronger. Every time you push through resistance, you build momentum. And over time, that momentum becomes unstoppable. Not because you were always inspired, but because you were always intentional. You didn't rely on emotion to guide your actions. You relied on discipline to carry you through. And that is the real difference. The ones who keep showing up, who keep doing the work even when they don't feel like it, those are the ones who win in the end. There's a simple truth that most people ignore. Small actions repeated consistently over time are far more powerful than big actions taken once. It's not about doing something amazing once in a while. It's about doing the right thing, even in small doses every single day. That's the power of compound effort. It's subtle, it's quiet, and it often goes unnoticed at first. But over time, it creates results that can feel almost unbelievable. The problem is that most people want fast results. We live in a world that praises speed, quick wins, instant gratification, overnight success. And because of that, people undervalue the power of small repeated effort. If they don't see immediate change, they think it's not working. They quit too soon, not realizing that they were only inches away from a breakthrough. The truth is, progress is rarely loud. It happens in the background, growing stronger with each small action you take, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Think about this. Doing one push-up a day won't change your body in a week. Reading one page of a book won't make Use smarter overnight. Investing a few dollars won't make you rich tomorrow, but what happens if you do it every day for a year? 2 years? 5? The change is almost invisible at first, but then something clicks, the results start to show, and by then you're not just doing the action, you've become the kind of person who does it naturally. That's the beauty of compound effort. It rewards patience. It favors those who are willing to do what's necessary long before they see a reward. It builds momentum so slowly at first that it can feel like nothing is happening. But with enough consistency, that momentum becomes impossible to stop. What once felt difficult becomes effortless. What once required discipline becomes your new normal. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a short period and underestimate what they can achieve over time. They go too hard, too fast and burn out, or they don't start at all because the task feels too big. But success isn't about doing everything at once. It's about starting small and building up. 1%. Improvement every day might seem insignificant, but compounded over time, that's not just better. It's transformational. Every small action is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. When you choose to do something productive instead of procrastinating, you're not just making a smart decision. You're shaping your identity. You're reinforcing the idea that you're someone who follows through, and those votes add up. They begin to shift your beliefs, your habits, and eventually your outcomes. This principle applies to every area of life. In health, it's not about a crash diet or a brutal workout once a month. It's about eating well and moving your body regularly. In relationships, it's not about grand gestures. It's about showing up consistently, listening, being present. In finances, it's not about a single windfall. It's about saving, budgeting, and investing bit by bit. And in personal growth, it's not about a single breakthrough. It's about reading, reflecting, learning, and applying what you learn day after day. The key is to stop looking for magic moments and start focusing on steady progress. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need massive action. You need repeated action. And the best part is, it doesn't have to be hard. Small steps are manageable. You don't need hours of free time or incredible motivation. You just need to do something, anything, that moves you forward, and do it again tomorrow. That's how people rise. Not because they had all the answers or took massive leaps, but because they honored the process. They respected the power of small things. And most importantly, they didn't quit when progress seemed slow. They trusted the compound effect to do its work. Quietly, patiently, and relentlessly. In a world full of distractions, noise, and constant pressure to perform, it's easy to believe that success comes from talent, intelligence, or even luck. But more often, what truly defines the outcome of a person's life is character. And character isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It's forged in the decisions you make every day, especially the ones no one sees. And nothing builds character quite like consistency. It's easy to be enthusiastic at the start. There's a certain thrill that comes with new goals, fresh beginnings, and ambitious plans. But the real test isn't how you start, it's how you stay. It's how you keep showing up after the excitement has worn off, how you act when the results are slow, how you respond when no one is cheering you on. That's where character is formed. Not in moments of praise, but in moments of silence, when your only motivation is the promise you made to yourself. Consistency doesn't always deliver fast results, but it always reveals the truth. Anyone can talk about goals. Anyone can make a commitment. But only those who are consistent will follow through when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's lonely. And that reveals something deeper than discipline. It reveals integrity. The ability to align your actions with your values day after day is what separates wishful thinking from true growth. The way you do small things is often the way you do everything. If you cut corners when no one is watching, that shows up in other areas of your life. If you make excuses in private, those habits creep into your relationships, your work, and your personal goals. But if you consistently choose effort over excuses, honesty over convenience, and responsibility over blame, you begin to form a foundation of trust with others, but more importantly, with yourself. That trust becomes a powerful force. When you consistently keep your word, even in the smallest ways, You begin to believe in your ability to handle bigger challenges. You develop the quiet confidence that says, I can count on myself. And that self-trust is invaluable. It gives you the strength to move forward, even when the path isn't clear. It allows you to stay focused when others get distracted. It becomes your anchor when life feels unstable. There's also something deeply human about the need for reliability. People are drawn to those who are consistent, not because they're perfect, but because they're steady. You become someone others can trust, someone who doesn't just talk about values, but lives them. In a world where flakiness and inconsistency are common, reliability becomes a rare and respected trait. This isn't about never making mistakes. Everyone slips. Everyone has days when things don't go as planned. But consistency isn't about perfection. It's about returning. It's about recommitting, realigning, and refusing to let one bad day define the rest of your journey. That kind of resilience builds strength, and over time that strength becomes character. Think about the people you admire most, not for their fame or achievements, but for who they are. Chances are, what you admire is their consistency, their ability to stay grounded, their habit of showing up regardless of circumstances, their reputation for doing the right thing, even when it's hard. That kind of respect is never bought or demanded. It's earned through a lifetime of consistent action. You don't need to be loud about your values. You don't need to announce your intentions. Just live them. Let your actions speak. Let your consistency be the quiet evidence of your character. Because what you do repeatedly, how you treat others, how you handle your responsibilities, how you respond to adversity, becomes who you are. At the end of the day, character isn't built on what you do once. It's built on what you do over and over again. It's not what you say you believe. It's what your daily behavior proves. And every consistent choice, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of a life built on integrity, strength, and purpose.